YouTube. This is Dr. Wanda, and I'm sitting down. I want to have a bit of a serious discussion because this time I want to talk to you about being a step parent in Africa, being a step parent specifically. I'm in Ghana, so let's speak about where I'm at. And I am Isaac's first wife, but he does have children out of wedlock. And so, with that comes great responsibility because one thing us Western women have to learn is that when you marry an African, you essentially marry his family and you essentially are marrying his children. And all those sort of connections still fall somehow in your sphere. It's in your lap. So I was sitting here reflecting on the Brady Bunch and how simple the idea of a single woman with children, because I have Giabu, and or a divorced woman with children and a divorced man or whatever, they can get together and build a family. And so, that little theme song hit me. Simple little story, going well. All of them had hair of gold. hmm Then you had the father. All right. Three boys of his own. They were all alone. Then the one day when the lady met this fella, like me. Uh-huh. Yeah. The Brady Bunch. Now it goes without saying, we didn't become the Brady Bunch. We're not the Brady Bunch. We ain't gonna be the Brady Bunch. But that doesn't mean that we can't make a family work and that there can't be some level of respect and peace in it. So when I first um, married Isaac and he shared with me prior to marriage about his children, I said to him, let's sit down as a couple and let's decide on a small amount each month that we'll send to these mothers because I'm a woman. I'm a mother. These mothers carry great burden. Uh, when they babies, they leak all the time. You always need school fees. The big boys grow. The girls come into their menses. You got to buy training bras. There's a bunch of stuff that goes on with these moms and parenting that require support, whether you are with them or not. And I'm a firm believer that because the man is not in love with the woman doesn't mean that he's not in love with his children. And if you love the man, then you love the children. You try to extend yourself in some kind of way. Now, all of this is idealism because there are times when it can't be done for a lot of reasons. Sometimes it's too much between the parents. Sometimes it's jealousy. Sometimes it's the fact that these people weren't able to even work together. When they were in coupleship, it's a lot of different things that makes this complex, but in terms of my own focus and my own role, I always remember I am a wife, I'm a mother, I'm intelligent, I'm kind. Do not take the special interest, the burdens of these two adults and attach them to children. Always remember these are children and they are always innocent in the relational mix. So when I suggested this to Isaac, he was resistant. And he was resistant because at that time he was having some sort of personal conflict. They had kind of been back and forth. He felt like he hadn't been respected, blah, blah, blah. Now, I am a strategist and I'm a team player, but I'm also a businesswoman. Once I put it on the table, you put it on the table, you accept it. You don't accept the deal, I take it off, I'm done. Now I'm on to something else, okay? But you can never say that I didn't extend that offer. So the offer was extended. Okay, so one of the complexities about being uh, 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 a stepmother is that the women have to want to see you that way. There's no women that necessarily see me as, they don't see me as a stepmother. They see me as the woman that's with Isaac that he married and he didn't marry them, or they see me as the foreign woman with money and so he should have resource now. They see me as everything other than a stepmother. So I don't know. And people who watching this have to tell me if Africa has the concept, because the lines are drawn in the U.S. because we need them, but in Africa, everybody's your uncle, your cousin, your brother. So maybe you don't even need that concept. I don't know, but I'm not really seen that way. So because I'm not seen that way, to try to play a real role that way is very, very difficult. It's very difficult. So, you guys who follow the show, I'm a social introvert. I'm a natural loner. If you don't like it, that's fine. I don't push myself on anybody. I stay in my own lane. I usually got a bunch of stuff I'm interested in, so I don't bug anybody. Okay. But you will find that the women will bug you, and they're bugging you through bugging the home because there's still needs and they still want it. And it's hard to explain to a woman that the way, and I can only speak for sisters, I know black women. If if a black woman is willing to support you, you got to come to the table and you got to be congenial. You need to come and you need to extend the right hand of friendship. You need to make it clear that y'all have an understanding, because the black woman won't sponsor you on GP. And there's nothing in us culturally to say, oh, that's a woman with children, you must do it. No, what we do is we mind our business. We mind our business. That's what we do, because we already got a full plate. You're talking about the group that's least respected, least protected. You're talking about the group that is always, always, always fighting. We always fight. We fight to live. We fight to defend ourselves. We fight in our own family, to fight off incest, all kinds of stuff, domestic violence in our relationships. We're always fighting, so we're not looking for any more burden. We really not. So yeah, if you're gonna be a step parent here, you have to already have a vision of how and what role you'll play in that mix, because the culture doesn't necessarily say anything other than accept that there are children and be willing to shell out some money, of which that's cool, but no, that's not all, that can't be all it is. So we're at this huge crossroad. um my position in this is, I share openly and generously with my husband whatever resources, um, financial or otherwise. He can make a decision within reason of how he would like to distribute that. So if he has extra $50, $100 and he says, hey, listen, um, one of the children's moms called and they need shoes, or they need school fees, or then, and he says he clears that and coupleship to make sure that the immediate family is okay, I don't have any problem with it. But one issue is, you can't make the man have that mindset either. There are lots of men who don't do that. Why they don't do that with their children, I don't know. But you can't make them have a mindset that they don't have. You can introduce them to that way of behaving. You can definitely suggest and say, hey, listen, Christmas is coming or whatever. You might want to consider your children. You can encourage them to be involved and to keep the line of communication open so that confusion is at its lowest point. But you can't make them do anything. And that attitude that is prevalent in the U.S. with men who are disconnected from their children because they unplugged from the woman, is also prevalent here in Africa, and I see some of it in Isaac. And the reality is, I spoke with one mom, and I explained to her that yes, there's that he has been encouraged to, because she was under the impression like the reason he wasn't doing certain things was that I was the problem, that I was blocking something, and it was very painful for her to hear that, no, that in fact, not only have I not been blocking anything, because on general principle, I believe that children need their fathers. If they're not pedophiles, if they're not abusers, allow the men to have time with their children. I believe in the yin and the yang. I believe that what I offer my children is important, but also what their dads offer. So it's against me principle. Like, I don't do that. But no, this is an adult making a decision. Now, no one knows what goes on between a man and a woman but that man and woman. So I said, ma'am, you have to figure out where the breakdown was with you two. But it has nothing to do with me. It has absolutely nothing to do with me. If you haven't gotten assistance, If you're not getting engagement, this is this adult making that decision. And that's tough talk, and that's important talk. But I can have that talk because I am absolutely clear on my position of who I am with other people's children. Dr. Wanda is decent with children, whether I like them or not. When I see children, when I see a child, that's all I see. I had a father who was an abuser to my two older brothers who were not his. Okay? What my father saw in those children's faces was the other men, and it has changed, it has followed me my whole life. And I made up my mind as a child I would never allow my children to experience that, and I would never accept that in any other human being. So when I see children, I can give randomly, freely. They don't have to be mine. They ain't got to be my nieces, my nephews. I am fair. Even when I was a preschool teacher, the ones that act bad, all the children got a gift at Christmas time. The ones that was bad, I would put a little piece of charcoal with their gift and tell them, okay, now this one I gave a lollipop. This one you got your toy, but I put some charcoal because I wanted you to know. You didn't behave so well. You got to improve your behavior. I've always been fair, so it doesn't bother me to be fair to a little one. But on the same token, I'm not a cash cow. I'm not an ATM. Okay, I'm not American Express. You either build a real relationship with camaraderie as mothers, or you don't. In which case, I stay quietly in my lane. I don't bother nobody. I don't have to beg to assist you. You know that there's a woman present, and women know that it's most times the woman that nudges the man. If he has a good woman, if that woman is a noble woman, it's the woman that nudges the man to do what is righteous with his children. Not that there aren't men that don't do it, but for the most part, it is women that will remind the man, "Hey, look, you need to get involved in that. You need to help with that. Okay, let's sit down now." I have one caveat, and that never changes. This has to be done as one. We are one. When you talk to the husband, you talk to the wife. You're not having no private conversation. You're not tapping into no private resource. He has to be transparent with his wife. He must be transparent with me. How much of that is in African culture? I don't know. I don't know, but I can tell you, when you come together as a wife and you become a stepmother, your portion of culture has to be considered too. You have to receive it too. We do not send gifts, send money to strange women. We don't do it. We don't care how many kids you have. You're either going to meet me and have an understanding of who I am, and I have an understanding of who you are. We don't have to coochie coo. We ain't got to meet. We don't have to go roller skating together. None of that. We just have to come to the table with respect and understanding that children are involved in this. Here are two dates you can never mess up with, and I've told my husband that: the birthday and Christmas. The children's birthdays are the same day every year. Same day every year. If you missed his birthday, you wanted to, because they was only born on that day. And Christmas is December 21st, 25th around the world. You never can miss those dates. So even encouraging him to say, look, all these excuses you make about being busy or you forgot this, that, the other, you need to make an effort to remember birthdays. You need to make an effort to remember Christmas. If you can't remember that, then you need to remember the start of school and when there's school break, because those are two times that parents will need to be rebooted. They will need some upkeep, because now you've used up a bunch of academic resources and they want some more money for them to finish off the next half. That's the best I can bring to the table. But I want to warn Western women that there's a complexity in this role of being a stepmother. And it's not the Brady Bunch. There's no merging of anything and you come together and the little song plays. It's not like that. In fact, it's far more complex, I find, than even the U.S. Women who have a similar circumstance like me, who has married a man that has children with other women, or, you have to share in my thread, if you see this video, what your thoughts are. Now this is when I really want people's thoughts on. But in terms of who I am, I'm staying authentic to myself. I have a mad love for children. Um, I do think that those little spirits need to be built up and loved on, and even if they're not your cup of tea, you be fair with them. You know that children are vulnerable and needs have to be met. You should not break your bank. That there's a simple way to come up with a formula. And listen, you never can go wrong with the 10%. You just can't lose with 10%. And again, if people are willing to accept that gift, great. And if they reject it, then you know where you stand and you move on. But you always bring an offering to the table for children. It's only fair because the needs are always there and they're vulnerable. And the reality is this is this man's lineage. This is his child. These are his children. So these are thoughts that went through my mind, and I just wanted to give you a little sample of it and see where you're at, and get your feedback as well. And hey, it's Friday. TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. And I'm signing out.